Okay then, Laci, let's do this. Show me the recent video you've made on Brainless.
If you don't think male privilege exists, you are wrong.
No mate, I'm pretty sure I'm right. That's like saying if you don't believe in God, you are wrong. You both believe in two similar things. Things that can't actually be empirically proven, but you have to believe in them, otherwise you are wrong and you are blasphemous. But hey, whatever, what do I know? On with the intro.
Gender bias is often ignored because it seems invisible and subjective to those who benefit from it.
Yeah, I've heard that one before, Laci. Apparently because something can't be proven and can't be seen, therefore exists because the person just cannot see it because they're incapable of seeing it, because they're benefiting from it. Even though what's ironic is that feminists cannot see the benefits that women get just by being women. You know, for example, in the law courts, they get less prison sentencing, as I said earlier in the last video. But this isn't about men and women as insofar as the cis ones. This is about trans people, isn't it? Specifically, trans men. But continue, Laci. Go on.
But trans men have experienced both sides of the gender-divided society, so I'm gonna let them explain male privilege in their own words.
Both sides of the gender divide, eh? Well, interesting.
Male privilege is the bullshit idea that men are better than anybody else.
I'm pretty sure male privilege is not that. That's male supremacy, is it not? Male privilege is something in society that benefits men, isn't it? You know, the things in society that benefit us to the detriment of women. I thought that's what it meant. What you described was male supremacy.
Male privilege is the ability to move about the world in the way that you want to.
I'm pretty sure women can move about in the world in any way they like. We live in a free-ish society, but the problem is you lot are making it less free, and I'm not saying that because you're trans, but because you're social justice warriors, and you're authoritarians, and that's what authoritarians do. They make the world less free. So, yeah, women can do whatever they want. It's all up to them. Men aren't really doing anything to that. And to be honest, I don't know where you've got this from. Are you saying that because you were female once, you didn't feel like you could move around as free as you wanted to? To me, that sounds like because you were trapped in that body that you didn't feel you were a part of, that's why you couldn't move about as freely. If anything, you're projecting, and you're projecting something onto the rest of society.
It's the experience of being left alone and free to be yourself.
I think you'll find that men do get stopped in the street a lot. Maybe not as much as women, but these things do happen to us quite frequently. I know what you're talking about. You're referring to catcalling and all sorts of stuff. Women do get more attention, but as Darren May in her response to you guys rightly pointed out, that's because women are considered more attractive than men. And also, I'd actually add that maybe men aren't seen as more approachable because people are more intimidated by men. Maybe because of our sizes, the fact that we're men, and people think, well, if I cross this person, I could end up flat on the floor with a broken jaw. So there's that. It happens to men. I got strangely called out for not jaywalking once, even though I was just happy to stand and wait. And this guy was like, go on, break the law, even though, as far as I know, jaywalking isn't illegal.
Privilege is also like the absence of experience. As a man, I have the privilege of getting on New York City subway train at 1 in the morning and don't have to worry about a man wagging his dick at me.
No, I'm pretty sure it's not about an absence of experience. I'm pretty sure it's the benefits that you get because of your race, your gender, etc., because of inequalities in society, like I said before. And are you sure you're not worrying about it now that you've become a man fully? You kind of just have stopped worrying about it. Whereas when you were once in your female form and you had all this propaganda pumped into you about how, you know, men are going to do this and that to you, you know, wag their dicks on the subway to you and catcall you and rape you, maybe you felt more threatened then because they told you that you were, on average of course, weaker than them and in more serious danger. And don't forget, most guys don't do this. This tends to be people who are mentally ill. So I don't really see why you're worried about that, because it doesn't happen that often. The news may make it out to be something that happens a lot. A lot of the time, your own worries are in here, or also given to you by things like MTV Brainless.
That is a male privilege that I like.
But that also happens to men. There are men in the midst of that happening to women. So it's not just the women that are experiencing that awkward, horrible situation. And also, women who are mentally ill will do that to men. Why? Because they're mentally ill. That's why. It's not a privilege. That's just something that may or may not happen as much to certain genders. That doesn't make it a privilege. Again, you don't know what privilege actually is, do you?
The first time I noticed I had male privilege was when I was walking home from hanging out with a bunch of friends who happened to be women. They had expressed being a little worried about walking home in the dark, and while I was walking, I realized that I had no worry in the world about being talked to or stared at or followed or assaulted.
But wait, how do you now have male privilege, but you didn't have it when you had a female body? That doesn't make any sense, because you were always a man, right? You're transgender. You were once a male in a female body, now you're a male in a male body. So surely you'd have always have had the privilege anyway. Does this mean that the whole privilege thing is just about how you look as well? It's all about, oh, you have a female body, you're now a victim, but since you've now removed yourself from that and got yourself a whole new one, metaphorically speaking of course, you are now no longer a victim, just because you've now had hormone therapy and stuff like that, and now you're a man. That is quite bigoted in a way, isn't it? Have you ever thought about that? You don't have male privilege. The thing is, you, now having the physique of a man, thereabouts, don't get the same propaganda and fears pumped into you by the media, by feminists, by your own family, by your friends. So you don't feel the same fears that they do, even though statistically you and cis men are more likely to actually be harmed or killed by random strangers in the middle of the night, not women. Again, it's all in here. It's all in here, and you all become scared because people tell you these unsubstantiated claims.
So a man could just walk down the street and no one is going to bother him. No one's going to ask him to smile. No one's going to ask him where he's going. No one's going to ask him if he's married. No one's going to ask him if they can walk with him. But this is something that I know women experience every day.
Again, men do experience that. They do. I have been asked these things before. Also, women get asked these things and experience these things. It's all about how much they experience it. And maybe women do experience it more. But that's not privilege. That's not a privilege. That's just something that happens to them more on a daily basis. And even then, it doesn't happen to the women every day. Sometimes it might happen once a month. You don't know what the frequency is, individually speaking. But because you have to use this collectivist argument that it doesn't happen to men, it happens to women. For women, it happens every day. For men, not so much. Your argument falls flat when we bring it to an individual level.
Post-transition life, my God, walking down the street is so glorious. I can actually think.
I don't know if that's because of your gender, but because now that your mind is cleared because of all this mental stuff that was going around in your head, you can think clearly for once. I have loads of shit going on in my head. I can never think clearly very often because I'm a guy who thinks a lot, and I'm cis. I've not had to transition. Just because you're now a man doesn't mean you walk down the street and have a clear mind all the time. That's not how life works as a man.
First time I ever experienced male privilege was on social media. I've always been the type to express myself and talk real crazy.
Well, nothing's changed then. You're peddling social justice.
And when I did it prior to transitioning, it wasn't okay. But the minute that I transitioned and everybody looked at me as that male figure, it was like, oh man, that's hilarious. I'm like, hey guy, I've been hilarious all this time. So what are you talking about?
Again, I'm going to call bullshit on that. Just because you were funny as a woman doesn't mean that people are taking you more funny now that you're a man. I'm pretty sure they always found you funny, but in that one moment they found what you said was very funny. That wasn't because you're now a man. That's because what they found was very funny. I think you've got the case of gender on the brain, and you need to get that out of your head and just see that these people were just laughing at something that was very funny that you posted. Although gender doesn't usually mean that you will be taken seriously or less seriously depending on who you are. In some cases, it actually is. And what's funny is it tends to be the reverse than what you think. If you're a woman, you will be taken very seriously on matters of rape, domestic violence, all the things that feminists will claim happens to women more than men. But when a man talks about these things, he's not taken as seriously. And that's why there's not much resources for men with these crimes, and why rape is not gender neutral in terms of the law in the West, or indeed anywhere. I can't think of anywhere where it's gender neutral at the moment. It keeps getting changed.
An unexpected aspect of male privilege for me was being taken way more seriously than I was before, and it's funny because I have all the same ideas, still thinking about the same things, and yet sometimes I would literally just be talked over or laughed at. Now people will often quiet down.
It's not because you used to be a woman, now that you're a man, that people are taking you more seriously. Maybe you've grown as a person and become more assertive. I don't know how old you are, but even I find it difficult when I'm in a conversation sometimes to stop people talking over me, because that's what some people do. Some people are rude and they talk over each other, and you have to be louder than them, you have to be more assertive than them in order to shut them up and get your peace. It's really that simple. It's that simple. You've become more assertive. I don't know why. It could be the surgery, it could be you. I don't know. That's the only reason I've got. It's not because of your gender. Again, another case of gender on the brain.
And having experienced that from both sides of the spectrum, as female and male, I call bullshit on that right now.
Wait, hang on. Did that just come after that other guy said that he's taken less seriously when he was a girl, but now more seriously as a man? And he just said it was bullshit. That guy, that's what he said. That's some strange editing. Unless I got that wrong, I must double check. Yes, he called bullshit on it. I think what they're trying to say is that he thinks that is bullshit, even though that's not really what happens, because I get laughed at when I'm trying to be serious and stuff like that. And I, for one, don't understand why they thought that was a good idea to put that into the video. But they have, and they shot themselves in the foot, and it's glorious. Thanks, Laci.
Male privilege and sexism isn't just a problem for women, but it's also about liberating ourselves. Masculinity is very diverse. Masculinity is what it is to you. You don't have to be a brute. You don't have to be an athlete. And my masculinity looks like a man who likes puppies and babies.
You do know that those two things aren't linked. In fact, one does exist, one doesn't exist. Masculinity also means that I don't have to be either of those things. I can be, like you said, whatever I want to be. But the thing is, it's not about personal choice when it comes to your ideology. I have to be like this, I have to be like that, to be considered even remotely legitimate in your eyes. So you might be preaching this, but in the same video, or a different video, you'll be preaching something entirely different, whatever suits you. So how come it's okay for you to be what you want to be, but I, as cisgendered, I can't be.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Unless you're a brute or a athlete or some kind of dude bro, because that's things that people in your movement don't like. Or if you're neither of those things, if you're someone who is a bit emasculine but is, say, anti-feminist, say like Milo. So yeah, it's okay as long as we approve of it. Am I right?
I was in the club this night and my brothers are around. I think it might have been Single Ladies. Something came on. And I'm like, oh, the Single Ladies. Oh, the Single. And they go, you're a man now. Men don't wild out to Beyonce like that. And I said, but it's music.
Well, I don't know the context in this. I don't know what your friends are like. And, that's their opinion. And you don't have to listen to them. So stop complaining. Do what you want to do. Or maybe get new friends who won't mind you doing that. But again, they do have a point. You don't really dance like that if you're a guy to Beyonce. I mean, you can like Beyonce, you can dance to Beyonce. I've danced to Beyonce, but it's like, I don't know. It's hard to explain. I don't know. It's their opinion. Look, talk to them about it. I don't know. Don't complain on bloody MTV. I mean, chances are this never even happened and they're just making shit up to spin a narrative. You know what they're like, people.
There's no one way to be a man. There's a spectrum of masculinity, and just be chill.
Oh great, so like every other thing that feminism and social justice has tried to change or to incorporate, it's now a spectrum. There is no spectrum, it's just people are people, and do what they want to do. Whatever, stop putting your stupid bullshit onto it and just be yourselves. Jesus Christ, that's all I ask for.
If a guy wants to really understand male privilege and understand what it is, talk to women.
Not all women believe in it, nor know what it could possibly be like because they can't feel it. Am I right? Isn't it supposed to be about experience? That's what you said. How would they know what it's like, and how would they be able to explain it to a man.
Step back, listen to what other people are going through.
Listen and believe. Don't use your logical and reasoning faculties. Listen and believe, because they know better than you do.
Ask them what they're going through, and I think you'll see that the world doesn't run exactly the way you think it does.
It doesn't run the way that you think it does. Most women don't even believe in it. Most women have no interest in any of this bullshit. That's why your numbers are dropping. Isn't it funny?
You're doing nothing wrong by having privilege. It's just what you do with it that matters.
Oh really? And everything that a man does is wrong to these people. You can't even sit properly without them saying manspreading. You can't even talk without them saying mansplaining. You literally cannot do anything right to these people because they hate you so much. Don't you understand? It doesn't exist because they have to make shit up in order to explain its existence, like mansplaining and manspreading and all sorts of vile crap that is just authoritarian. Please, listen to yourself. Listen to yourself. If there's nothing wrong with it, well then, why are you complaining about it? Who's using it in a bad way? Who's using this mythical thing? Jesus Christ.
I'd like to thank all of our guests for giving their time and thoughts on this issue. We'll see you next time.
You know what else is male privilege? We actually have a bunch of men having to talk about what male privilege is, even though women have been talking about this for years. We ain't
Sorry people, I was just way off there for a second. No, mate, I think you'll find it's feminists that I've been talking about it, not women. The two aren't the same. But that's the end of the video, people. I spilled my guts out for you. I hope you're happy. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like the channel, please subscribe. And if you love it, please donate to that Patreon down below. I have a goal of $100 a month in order to buy new equipment and to improve this channel's look and ability to do different things. So any help would be appreciated. So until next time, sayonara bitches.